Okay, I'm recording. Miss Martinez? Okay. Okay, it says I'm recording, so I don't know where it's going, but we got a recording. All right, you guys. So this is the demo for the chemical waving section of the NIC. And so, as you know, where we're going to be starting from is right when you just finished the new client setup. So this is the next section, and you have 20 minutes, okay? So the first thing that I'm gonna do, obviously, they said time. I'm gonna sanitize my hands. And the hair is a little bit wet, so that's good, because you guys just did the haircut. And then I'm gonna start to section. I'm gonna use the rat tail comb. You could use this comb or an all-purpose comb to section, it doesn't matter. You want to start your sectioning similar to what you did for the thermal. I'm going to come over to the side, and I'm going to do a part here. But I want you to come back a little bit farther on the apex. Okay? So we're going to go a little bit farther to the apex, the top of the head. And then I went about this far back, maybe a little tiny bit farther. So I'm about this far back. And then I'm going to do my section for the side. Come all the way down, right behind the ear. It's about 1/2 inch behind the ear. And I'm going to section, control the ends and section this off. Okay. I'm going to come over on the top of the head, the apex, and I'm going to take that part down the side. It's a little bigger section than we did for the thermal, but the point is that it's on the side like that. Down like 1/2 inch behind the ear. Make your lines as straight as possible. For some reason, she's not wanting to be. Okay, there we go. Now she behaves. Control the ends. Okay, so that's what, this is what this side looks like. This is what this side looks like. And it's heavier on the right side. Remember, we're going back to the apex. Okay? Now, this is where you're going to be doing your, starting your rollers, going from the crown down. You have to fit 10 to 12 rollers. No less, no more. So it's 10 to 12 rollers. And then when you subpart your hair, you know, you want to do it the same way you've been doing for perming. So right here in the center, I'm just going to come all the way down to the nape. And I'm going to section this little side over and control the ends. Her hair's a little short and pokey, kind of hard to work with, but it's going to be okay. Okay, so I sectioned that section down. Now, this is key. Please put a big asterisk or star next to this. When we teach you guys, when you section for perms, we teach you when you come in the nape to narrow in the nape. When you're doing this sectioning for your chemical waving, I do not want you to narrow in the nape. I want the section on the crown to the nape to be exactly the same. You guys got it? That's a key component.
Ms. Alito, can you repeat that one more time, please?
Say that again?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Okay, yes. So when we section, when we do perms, we make it narrow in the nape. Today, when you're sectioning for chemical waving NIC, I want the section on the crown to be the same width as the section in the nape, the same width as the rod, the way you measure the rod. It is not to go narrow in the nape. Okay, does anybody not understand that? I'll show you in a minute, but if you don't understand, you can please ask me again.
Miss Alito,
Yes.
we can throw out, you know, we got like our own box of the waving solution, all that stuff. We can throw out all that other stuff, right?
Like what other stuff?
Well, like the neutralizer bottle and like.
No, you need the neutralizer for, you didn't see the demo, Gretchen, on the advanced senior perm assignment.
Assignment, okay.
Don't throw anything away.
Okay, I'll keep it all, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so your center should be appropriate to the rod size. And I mean, it kind of looks a tiny bit more narrow, but you do not want it to narrow. It's just like there's less hair down here. It should be the same on the top as it is on the bottom. So if I hold the hair in a little bit like this, it's much more straight. The hair is just loose. Okay, does everybody got that? So now my hair is sectioned and ready for chemical waving wrapping. And of course, you know your doll's double draped because that's how you're starting out this demo, as your doll double draped. Okay, so I'm gonna lower her just a little bit for me. I'm gonna take out my clip. I'm gonna make sure there's no hair on it before I put it back on my SMA, and I'm gonna start wrapping. I'm gonna start in the crown and work my way down. You know, obviously you want your sub partings to be rod width. That's important. And yeah, the width of the rod. Remember, these are a tiny bit bigger than the white ones, tiny bit. Okay, so papers, you guys start with a paper on the bottom. It's a double flat wrap. That's another component that's important. Make sure you don't bunch hair. The examiner will be looking at that. Make sure the papers extend past the ends. You can spray your ends and then you roll. I'm gonna roll these nice and on base. Guys have to bear with me while I wrap these. You can ask any questions if you have any. Double flat wrap. I am using a pop-up.
Miss Salito,
Yes,
so we're not allowed to wet the hair for the section?
you can. I wet the
Okay.
section once before I started, and now I'm wetting the rods.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But remember, the hair is going to be wet from the haircut, but probably not wet enough. You can even wet it before you start sectioning. That would have helped me.
Miss Alito,
Yes.
could I see the other side?
Yeah.
The sectioning?
Sure.
But whenever
We can take a look right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. There's a tiny angle on both of them at the back because we had to go back far enough in the apex. But it's not that far back. So you have 20 minutes for that part, like the sectioning and the wrapping. And this is a good time to remember not to put the bands too tight. They will be checking like bands being too tight. Do you guys all get what I mean by that? You guys want to make sure your perm rods look consistent throughout, that they stay the same subpartings. Remember, no bunching hair. I have a fan on me today and it's making it a little difficult because usually it's so hot in my house. So sorry about that. Notice how I'm coming out at a 90. Keep track of how many rods you have because we get nervous. So the reason why we don't make it narrow towards the bottom is because the rods we get are long rods. We don't get narrow rods. So does that make sense to you guys? Yes, no?
Yes. Okay, how many rods do I have?
8.
Yay! Thank you. Okay. So I'm 10 rods, and that's perfect. My bands aren't too tight. Okay. Can't see the side there, but I think they look nice. There's no gapping, there's no crowding. Good, right? We agree? So I guess I want to say to you guys, the reason you can use your white rods, the reason we get you these is because they're a little bit, you take a tiny bit bigger section of hair, subsection, and so it's more, it's nicer because I just had to put 10 rods in. I didn't have to go and like do 12 white rods for the section. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I would try to practice with the purple rods, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. I think you'll get both in your kit at State Board. Okay, I'm used to really wrapping the purple rods, so they're great. Okay, so when you're finished with this, and let's say it's still in the 20 minutes, okay? I want you guys to cut a small piece of cotton like this, a piece of cotton that's gonna fit around the head, and a piece of cotton that's gonna fit around the rods. All right, so I'm going to, the first thing I'm gonna do, I left out a spatula so I don't have to go into my kit for it. I'm gonna get my protective cream now. Safely. I also left out a torn paper towel so I can wipe my spatula and put it back down and put my stuff in the trash. You can do it either way. You have extra spatulas, but where do we put the spatula if we're going to put it away?
Items
Items to be disinfected. So if you put it in items to be disinfected, what do you have to do? You have to sanitize your hands. Okay? So I just wiped it off and put it back down on my workspace. It's clean. Okay, so I'm going to put protective cream all the way around the hairline. This is very important. Okay, at this time now, I'm going to take my bigger cotton and I'm going to go all the way around the hairline.
Where did you apply the protective cream again?
Around the hairline. And now I'm going to put cotton around the hairline. This is client protection. I put the cotton all the way around. Okay. Now what we like you guys to do is you're going to get a next piece of cotton and I'm going to put it around the perm rods. Okay. And when you're finished with that, I'm going to put my gloves on and I'm going to wait for the examiner. Because it's still to the point where I haven't touched the chemicals.
Miss Alito,
Yeah.
so for when we have to cut the cotton, should we measure it around the wherever we need it before we cut?
Just pre-measure it, or just, you'll kind of get, like, when you're practicing, get an idea of how much you think you need.
Okay. Thank you.
This is something that we used to set up for you guys in the lab, but obviously we can't do that now.
Do they come pre-cut?
No, just I would do a couple, measure them around the head and measure them around the perm rods, and then just set them aside for yourself for like when I drill you and when we do the mock board.
Okay. Thank
What
you.
about like in the kit that we
So
print?
here's the thing. This is one of the things we like you to, where you're going to do what you were taught. Don't look at what anybody else does. When you use the kit at State Board, you're probably just going to have to measure it real quick or have a good idea of how long it is.
Okay.
You might see other schools where their students don't do it like this. We like to do it like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so my gloves are on.
Sorry, do you mind turning her around, the doll?
Face forward or back?
Back, like that. Okay, that's cool. Perfect. Thank you.
Here's the thing too, you guys, this is how you know that you sectioned it right. Like, it's just the right amount, right? The hair's not going over the sides of the rods. The rods are nicely placed. And then, you know how I said not to narrow? the hair is just like not bunched on the rod. It looks the same width all the way. Does that make sense? Something for you guys to practice.
That's it.
Can say that again?
خد المنشفة.
Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry, I was talking.
Okay, I couldn't hear. Okay, no problem. Okay. So now I'm going to step back and I'm going to wait for the examiner. And she's going to say, demonstrate saturation.
Miss Alito, do you have to sanitize your hands before you put on the gloves?
You could have. Yeah, I didn't, but you could have.
But do you have to for?
I would imagine that you may or may not have to. Let me, hold on. I don't want to go out of here. Let's talk about that again. You can just put down, sanitize your hands before you put the gloves on. That was my badness.
Thank you.
Put it down, sanitize your hands before you put the gloves on. It cannot hurt.
It's really
So after you
hard.
put the gloves on, you just wait.
Yes, you have to wait. Do not do anything. You are waiting for instruction from the examiner. Hang on one second. Okay, so I have my waving lotion. And so the examiner is going to say to me, demonstrate saturation. So I'm going to pick up cotton and my waving lotion, and you're going to demonstrate saturation until she's asked you to stop. It may be 4 rods, it may be all the rods, you just do, okay? So I'm going to start on the top one, and remember, there's green, we put green dye in this so that we could see it on the papers. So you're going to go once over the top, and lift the rod once underneath, and then show them that you know to dab the scalp if any solution drips to the person. So you're going to go one, and then I want you to not look at the examiner for her to tell you to stop or anything. This is where we want you to just continue working until she tells you to stop. You can see my cotton has green on it because we have green dye in here. Green food coloring. Can you guys see okay? I'm blotting the scalp for any solution that drips. And again, don't look at the examiner, just continue working. So she may tell you to stop by now. It's up to her. I'll just keep going so you can see the process. Okay. Now, when you're finished or she tells you to stop, step back, throw your little extra cotton in the trash. So now he or she is going to say, demonstrate a test curl. So you can pick any rod, kind of get used to whatever rod you pick for yourself. I'll pick my 3rd rod. So remember, we're going to unwind it twice. 1, 2, or it comes out to about 1.5 inches out. You hold up the hair and you push down. 1, 2. Push in. 1, 2. You just have to demonstrate that once. And then you wait for instruction. So they say demonstrate a test curl. Did I say test curl, you guys? Did I use the word test curl? I'm sorry if I didn't. It's called demonstrate a test curl. All right, anybody have any questions about demonstrating test curl?
Ms. Toledo, one more time. So you take out 2 rolls. You roll.
Unwind it about 1.5 inches, which is about 2 winds. So you can see where it comes. So when she says demonstrate test curl, You unhook, you come out, I'd say 1, 2, and it looks about 1.5 inches out.
And then you push in towards the scalp and
You
then
push
back.
in towards the scalp, and that shows the curl pattern.
Okay.
I can turn her. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're showing her that you know how to do a test curl.
And you should do that twice or 3 times?
You're only going to do it on 1 rod.
No, I know, but push in, push out, push in, push out.
Yeah,
I
just
should be
do it a couple times. You have to see if she says, okay, thank you. Or
Okay.
just push it in twice and then stop. They don't give me instruction on that part.
Okay.
All right, and the next thing is,
Roll it back. I'm sorry.
that?
Then after you do the test curl, you roll it back up, right?
yes, roll it back up. Very good. Roll it back up and put it back together. All right. Then she's going to tell you, please remove 1 rod. So this is another part that I want you guys to do a strobe light and put a star, okay? Put a big star. How you remove the rod when they ask you to remove a rod. This is very important. So pick whatever rod you want to remove. I'll pick this one here. You unhook it. When you come out, you're unwinding, okay? When you see the paper, you hold the rod in one hand and you start to remove the paper with the other hand. They want to see you separate these 2 things. So unwind, remove the paper. Unwind, remove the paper. Unwind and remove the paper. Okay, this is what they want to see. They want to know that you're going to put the paper in the trash and the rod in the items to be disinfected. And I'm just going to sanitize my hands. And I'm going to wait. Don't do anything else right now. You're just removing 1 rod. Okay? Any questions? Questions? So they're going to go through all this, each person, where they're going to say, demonstrate saturation, demonstrate a test curl, remove 1 rod.
Miss Alito,
Yes.
you mind taking another rod out?
Well, I'll wrap this one up because I don't want to take out 2 because that might confuse somebody because they only want you to remove 1 rod right now. Okay, so I'll wrap another one. I'll wrap it back so you guys can, I don't want to remove more than 1.
Do you keep the gloves on?
Yeah, because why are the gloves on right now?
Because you're working with the chemical.
Yep. The chemical is on the hair.
Okay, so gloves on. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys can see it, like I can put it on Canvas. All right. Okay, so I've just done my saturation. I've just shown a test curl and the examiner is going to ask me to remove 1 rod. So whichever rod I pick, you're gonna start to unwind it. And when you see the paper, you gently and safely remove the paper from the rod with the other hand. So I'm holding the rod with one hand and I'm removing the paper. And now they're apart. Okay, make sure you don't skip that part and don't go too fast. It goes into the, and then I just sanitize my hands and I'm waiting. All right. You guys ready for the next step? Okay. So the next part of this is they're gonna say, once one rod is removed from the hair, please read individually to the candidate, do not remove the remaining rods until instructed. So we all got that, right? Does everybody got it? We're only removing one rod, yeah? All right, then you're gonna step back and they're gonna read the next part. All examiners have indicated you are ready to proceed. You will remove the remaining rods from the hair and create 5 sections for the remaining chemical services. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 5 minutes. So this next section is only 5 minutes. It's fast and there's a lot to do. So don't panic if you don't finish in the 5 minutes, because you can complete it in the next, when you start the next section. Okay, because it's fast. You will be informed when you have 2 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. So this is a key. So at this part, they basically say ready, set, go. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cotton off. I'm leaving my gloves on. Whoops, hold on, go back. Let's just sanitize our hands again, even though I sanitize them. She says go, sanitize your hands. Take the cotton off. Remove the cotton, it goes in the trash. Okay, now you're gonna wanna go really fast, but you still have to remove the rods properly. So here's a tip. You're gonna start removing at the top. Remember, you're gonna separate the paper from the rod. They need to see that. And I'm gonna hold the rod in my hand like this, between my thumb and my pointer finger, because you don't wanna stop and go to each one by one to items to be disinfected. I've got the trash in the other hand. Practice it this way to see if you can get through this. It's a lot to do because you still have to remove those rods safely. Okay. Remove the paper. Remove the paper. Put the rod in here. Have the paper here. If you feel like you got to throw the paper away, that's not a problem because your trash is open. Remember, take a second. Remove the paper. Remove the paper from the rod. I'm leaving my gloves on for this part. There's no specific thing that says take them off or leave them on, but I figure I still am working with the chemical. Remove the paper.
It does matter to start to remove rollers from
Say
the
that again.
top.
Say it again.
If I start from the nape remove rollers, is okay, or it's only
I don't think that's a big problem. Whatever you think you're gonna do faster.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Remember, don't forget, safely. Safely.
So every time you would put something in the disinfected box, you would
Right
have
now, I'm not putting anything in the disinfectant. I'm holding all the rods. I'm just putting the rods in my hand by the tops, and I'm just putting the papers in the trash.
so you can't put it in the disinfectant.
Yeah, the trash is open,
Okay.
so I'm not touching it. Or you can try to hold the papers in your hand, all of them. It's fine, because this needs to go by pretty speedy. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of my rods. Sanitize your hands. I'm going to take my gloves off now for the next part. Okay, I'm going to pick up my comb. While I'm in the back of the head, I'm just going to split that center that I just permed right down the center. This is going to be part of my 5 sections. And then I'm going to add it to each side. Make sure there's no hair on, if you're gonna, oh, you just hold on to the clip. Okay, so we're just splitting this back section right down the center. Any questions about that? And then we're going to come to the front and we're going to create like a perm section on top. This is I could have probably went a little bit over more here, but that's fine. And then this last section. So now, how many sections have I created? 1,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5. All right, do you guys have any questions?
So it's everything including 5 minutes
That's only 5 minutes.
for remove the rollers and create 5 sections?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord.
Lito, the
Yes.
tops, you said it would be like a perm section. Are they gonna like measure it specifically,
No.
or
No.
just as long as there's 3 sections?
Yes, because let me tell you what you're going to be doing here. Miss Knowles is going to teach you, obviously your PD test is going to go behind the ear. You're going to do a strand test on the right side. On the top is where you're gonna do your highlights. This back right section is you're gonna do the roots retouch. And then we're gonna come over here to this side. And this is where I'm gonna teach you how to do the chemical relaxing portion.
And then what about in the back left? There's
That
another.
one gets left.
Okay.
So again, you wanna do as you were taught, the way we're gonna teach you, and don't look at what anybody else there is doing. Make sense? Anybody have any questions?
Can you repeat what we're doing for each side?
Well, the good news is now that you guys have the smaller dolls, the first thing you're gonna do is the back section. You know how we had the perm rolled here? Hold on. Remember how this was 3-section and the perm was rolled down the center? All you're gonna do is split that in the middle, and you're gonna put hair to one side and the rest of the hair to the other side, even portion.
Yeah, no, I was asking what chemical services are we doing for each?
Oh,
section.
okay.
Sorry.
Miss Knowles is probably gonna, I mean, I don't think she'll switch it up. This is just the way we've been doing it. She's gonna teach you that this first right section, you're gonna do a PD test behind the ear. You're gonna do the color strand, the hair strand, the strand test, sorry, on this side. On the top is where you're gonna be doing the 4 highlights. The back right is where you're gonna be doing the retouch, color retouch. And this side right here, I'm gonna teach you the chemical relaxing portion.
I'm sorry, but do you mind repeating it again?
You know what? It's gonna come to you.
Okay.
I mean, I can repeat it again, but you guys will get it when you're gonna start the next thing. Because it's gonna make sense when Miss Knowles teaches you the next part and the next part. Any more questions?
So we just stop, like just stand right there after the 5-section, right?
Yep, and you're just gonna wait. Now,
Sanitize and wait.
yep.
Sanitize hands and wait.
Yes, can somebody repeat to me? Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Maybe you like wanna repeat those sections, what we will do with them?
Well, you guys will get that when Miss Knowles do the next test. She'll
I
show you.
already get that.
Huh?
I already remember it's only 14.
No, that wasn't it. I was gonna say, I forgot, you guys. I'm sorry. Just step back and wait for the next thing. So, any other questions?
You said if we don't finish sectioning. in
Oh,
the
thank you, Ceci. That's it. Good. So when they tell you to step back, don't panic. If you're next, if you didn't finish this, just stop and step back, because you will have time with the PD test. When you do the predisposition test and the strand test, you have 10 minutes. That barely takes anybody 10 minutes. So if you don't finish these 5 sections, we might give you a little mark like Miss Knowles and I, or like when I drill you, just so that we can remind you to be speedy. The only mark you'll miss is that you didn't finish in allotted time. But you'll have time when you do the PD test next that Miss Knowles is going to teach you.
So we have 5 minutes to take out all the rods and do the 5 sections.
Yes.
Ideally, finish
Yes.
everything.
Yes. But remember, be mindful when you take out the rods, because you've got to take them out safely, right? And then the good news is the way we section for the perm, you're set up for the sectioning, where you only have to split the back and then just come here and create this top section and the side section. And that's a lot better now that we have the smaller dolls, because when you have like a Jocelyn, we would have come way back here, and this would be at like a really big angle, And so you would have to fix this part too. But now that you guys got smaller doll heads, it works out a lot better, which is why we had you get the smaller dolls. Does that make sense? All right, let me come over here and sit down. I'm going to stop the recording, see if I can manage what to do next so we save it. All right.
Miss Alito,
Yeah.
did you say it was also 5 minutes to do the PD test?
No, that's 10 minutes. The PD test and the strand test are together, and that's 10 minutes. And it's all, this is all listed in your NIC booklet. Okay, hang on a second here.